There's a mitzvah in this week's parsha, which is the mitzvah of Hashavat Avedah. Hashavat Avedah is you find your friend's object that's missing. The halacha is you need to return it. Says the Torah like this. You ready? This is incredible. It says like this. Lo tireh et shor achicha o et tzio. Don't see if you see the donkey of your friend. Shor is see the ox of your friend, the bull of your friend. O tzio or his sheep. Nitachim, they're lost. Vitalamtem mehem, meaning don't ignore them. What should you do? Hashev tashivem leachicha. You need to do the mitzvah of selves. You need to return the bull and you need to return the sheep. The Torah continues. Pasuk 2 pesukim later. V'chen taseh, the same thing you should do. Lechamoro. Chamoro is his donkey. V'chen taseh lesimlato. What's simlato? His clothing. The guy he left his shirt at the beach. You have to give it back, right? V'chen taseh lechol avedat achicha. This you also need to return what? Any lost object. So what's the question that's literally yelling from the pages of the Chumash? Is that if you're ending up the pasuk saying return any lost object, why do I need to start delineating his ox, his sheep, his donkey, his shirt? Just say return everything that belongs to your brother, right? It's like, and all the Mefarshim ask this, right? It's the Gemara already discusses this. Why specifically these? Why are you saying his ox, his sheep, his donkey, and his shirt? There's obviously something. Again, you can read these pesukim. You heard it in the Torah, very nice, or you can actually it raises a question and you delve deep into it, and you're like, wow, this is going to be transformative. So that's the question number one. Question number two, and this is from the beginning, more in the beginning of the parsha, which says like this: You went out to battle, you won, and you took people captive, and you saw an isha sifastor, and you wanted to marry her. There's a woman that you wanted to marry her. So what does it say? It says Vesirat simnat shivya maleh. She needs to take her. She needs to change her clothing. Ve'ashva bebet bevitcha. She sits in your house. Uvachta et avia ve'tima yerach yamim. She needs to cry and mourn her parents for how long? For a month, right? And then you can marry her. Now, I want to focus on. I'm not getting into the whole sugya of Isha Sifastor, which is a fascinating sugya unto itself. I want to focus on one word in this pasuk, and that is the word yerach, with regards to a month. Yerach in Hebrew, or even in the Torah, how do we usually refer to a month? Chodesh. The first mitzvah in the Torah is Rosh Chodesh. Chodesh hazeh lachem, Rosh Chodeshim. Over 60 times in Tanakh, you have the month being referred to as what? Chodesh. Why is the Torah taking a word that's almost never used, right, and using the word yerach, right? It should say, and she should cry for her parents. Chodesh yamim. What does it mean? Yerach yamim. By the way, where's the first time you have the month being referred to as yerach or yareach? Anyone know? Fascinating. In when Moshe Rabbeinu was born, so it says that his mother Yochevet. It says vatitzpaneu shlosha yerachim. She kept him hidden for 3 months, and then after 3 months she couldn't keep him in, and that's when she had to send him down the Nile. So also over there it uses yarech, which is a question unto itself. But here we want to focus on Ki Teitzei. Hopefully we'll get to that as well. But we want to focus over here. Why in the sig of the year of Ish Tifasar is it referring to the month as yerach, as the yarech, as the moon, which is what it physically is, and not chodesh, which is what we usually describe and what the Torah usually uses to describe a month. So these are the two very simple, straightforward questions. So far, so good. Question number one is, why do you need to delineate his ox? He lost his ox, his sheep, his donkey, his shirt, right? And everything that a person loses, you have to return. To say, everything that a person loses, you need to return it. Question number one, very simple. Question number two is in the Parshat Ki Teitzei, it says that she needs to mourn her parents for a month. How does it refer to a month? Yerach, and not, what should it really say? It should really say chodesh. Good? Two questions. To answer these questions, we need to really discuss a little bit the month of Elul. Now, for most people, when you say the word Elul, they have PTSD, right? PTSD, like deep-rooted PTSD. It's the long davenings in shul. You're gonna have to sit there for hours on end, and it's the yeshiva years where you were like mamish. People mamish, they it's like, when could we get to Sukkot? Just give me the daled minim. I'll stand in shul for how long as you need me with a daled minim. Just get me out Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. Now, if you ask me, big mistake. Why is it a big mistake? Because Elul is, and it's like this usually in life, that we don't appreciate the great things that are in front of us. Elul is the most incredible month of the year because it gives you the opportunity to re-find who you are. Throughout the year, we get so busy with day to day. We run from one thing to the next, and we don't stop and say, could I become better? Could I maximize my actual potential? The greatest gift you'll ever give yourself is to maximize who you are. That's the greatest gift you can ever give yourself, is to and really your family and the people who are around you, is to maximize your potential. What the month of Elul does is it's a gift that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us once a year, and he says, you know what? Now it's time to recalibrate. Now it's time to look inward and say, could you really be doing better? So it's not as much as, people think, I need to look at the back and all the negative things that I did, and I did so many bad things, and it's depressing and it's hard. It's more about the future. What could you become this year? What could you become this year? So sometimes in order to become better, you need to look at the past. But it's not, that's terrible, because Baruch Hu kept you alive this year, right? So now next year, what are you going to do better? What are you going to do that helps yourself and helps the world around you? So Elul is the gift where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is like giving you your life back again, right? It's like it's your birthday, which is the birthday of creation, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, let's celebrate your birthday. So this pasuk, okay, this is the idea I'm going to tell you, is based on the Orach Chaim HaKadosh. It's not exactly what he says, but it's using his concept. He says this pasuk of a shavat avidah, of a person losing something, refers to the month of Elul. It says Hashev Tashivimnu. What do we do in the month of Elul? Hashev Tashivim is tshuva, right? You go back. What do we lose throughout the year? Throughout the year, we usually lose four things. We lose the bull that belonged to us. We lose the sheep that belonged to us. We lose the donkey that belonged to us. And we also lose our clothing. What does that mean? We lose these four things. Sounds strange. So each one of these four things represent a different part of you that throughout the year you lost. And in the month of Elul, you're able to bring back these four things. And that's why the Torah is delineating specifically these four things. Because the whole pasuk, says the Orach Chaim HaKadosh, is referring to the month of Elul. So what does the bull represent? Right? This is something, mashu chaval al hazman. Ready? It says it like this. The bull represents a person's passion. Bull represents passion, right? You ever see a bull running? So even in the cartoons, he's got the smoke coming out of his ears. He's the bull of Wall Street. What's the bull of Wall Street? You ever been to Manhattan? The bull of Wall Street represents, I'm going to get money at all costs. I'm going to drive through everyone. I'm going to steal, kill, murder, as long as I get money, right? That's what the bull of Wall Street represents, right? So a bull represents passion, desire, excitement. I'm going to do it. What happens throughout the year? We lost our passion. We lost our desire. You, at some point, you said, you know what? I'm going to do the daf. I'm going to finish Tanakh. I'm going to learn this Mishnah. I'm going to do chesed, and I'm going to help this individual, right? We lose that passion. We don't, you started and then you stopped, right? You didn't remember the first time you put tefillin on. The first time you lit Shabbos candles. The first time you did something that's exciting. And then it becomes part of your route. So throughout the year, we lost the bull. We lost that excitement. We lost the passion. Elul is the gift that you can return the bull to yourself. There are certain Hasidic Rebbes who every month they would buy a new sitter. Or they would buy every month to buy a new sitter, even though it's a waste of money. Why? But why do they think it's not a waste of money? Because he said every time you got a new sitter, there's like a new excitement when you open a new book, right? When you crack the pages open of the new book, right? Right? So he says, every month I would get a new sitter. It's like that. I'm now davening with a new sitter. So I can daven to keep that passion alive. So the bull represents the passion, the desire, the excitement, which we lost throughout the year. The month of Elul is the ability to reunite that passion, to reignite that passion within you. What does the sheep represent? Sheep, if you ever watch sheep always travel in flock, right? They always go together. You're not going to find a single sheep, and if you do, you're like, well, what's the sheep doing here by himself? Usually it comes with a lot of other people. Sheep represents unity and achdas, right? Maybe in the beginning of the year, we said, you know what? I'm going to love my brother as myself. I'm going to help. I'm going to make food for the Miluim family, for the husband who's out in Miluim or whatever it is. Or maybe I'm going to go visit soldiers or injure thing. And then what happened throughout the year? You got busy. You forgot the sense of unity. You forgot how much we should really be loving one another. And you started yelling at your neighbor and at your friends and causing, unnecessary just disputes for no reason. So what the sheep represents is throughout the year, we lost our sense of unity as a nation. Comes the month of Elul, where you can look back and say, you know what, let me try to rekindle that relationship. Let me try to come back, right? At the beginning of the war, everyone was packing sandwiches. So it could be now you don't need sandwiches, right? Not the Chaylim, they don't need sandwiches. I remember at the beginning of the war, so I was in Miluim, so they had, my nieces, my nephews, my kids, they were all making sandwiches. And we had a friend in our unit, he's like this heavy guy, he's like a big heavy guy, and he's funny. He brought a lot of joy to the whole unit. We were in the Chavra Kadisha unit, so we needed someone like him to bring a lot of joy. So they made him sandwiches. So on each sandwich, like the kids, my nieces and nephews, they wrote different things, right? So it said, one said, to the best looking soldier, to the strongest soldier, to the smartest soldier, to the right. And that's what it is. So we made a video of this guy. He said he took 3 sandwiches. He said, listen, he said, I got the sandwiches. He said, I didn't know which one to eat. This one said to the smartest one. This one said to the best looking one. This one said to the strongest one. I didn't know. They're all to me. So I ate all of them, right? That was his video. And he sent it out. It was very good. So anyway, so in the beginning of the war, right, everyone was giving a hand, seeing what they could, calling, how's everyone doing? But then time happens. Time is a blessing and time is a curse. So in the month of Elul, let's think about those families around us. Let's think of the people that need to. Someone who never stopped this is Shai Graucher. I don't know if you see him on like Instagram. He hasn't stopped for a second. Every yasam, every orphan, every almana, their birthdays, their things. It's crazy to be able to constantly think that. But we need to learn from him, from people like that. You see people who inspire you to return the sheep back to you. So that's the second thing that we lost. What's the third thing that we lost throughout the year? Is the donkey. Donkey is a very stubborn animal. Now, stubbornness is usually a bad thing, right? Stubbornness is usually a bad thing, but stubbornness could also be a good midah, and it's called persistence, right? Persistence is a very good quality when you're trying to achieve something. When you're trying to see something through, you want to have persistence, right? It was Thomas Edison when he was trying to find the light bulb. He says, I haven't failed. He said, I just found 10,000 ways that don't work, right? That was his that was his philosophy, right? And then he added, he says, many of life failures are people who didn't realize how close they were to success when they gave up. And that's something that we need. A lot of times you say, you know what, I'm going to try to do A, B, and C, and then you throw in the towel too quickly. You lose you're not stubborn enough. You lost your donkey. You didn't put your feet in the ground and say, you know what, I'm going to try to see this through the whole way. So comes the month of Elul, where it's the gift to be able to return that sense of persistence to yourself, to be able to overcome. What's the last thing that we lose? This is amazing. Last thing that we lose is our clothing. What do our clothing represent? Our clothing are the way that you can express yourself. Our clothing are self-expression of individuals, right? You know a doctor from a lawyer, from especially in England where they wear the wigs, right? And from a fireman, from a Hatzalah man, from a police officer, right? You know the difference between all of them. I was once I did a Hatzalah course, and in New York, in order to finish the Hatzalah course, so you have to do a shift for 24 hours in an emergency room. So we get to the shift, right? We know, what did we do? We did like a few hours of lessons, and they give you a white robe and a stethoscope. Right? So you walk around, you walk in the ER, you know what you suddenly become? Excuse me, doctor. I was like this. I became a doctor overnight. I'm walking around, everyone referring to me as a doctor. Right? So your clothing are the way to express yourself, right? Different people dress, even in the Jewish world. This guy's Haredi, he's Tzioni, he's Dati Leumi, he's this, he's that. It's all based on, he's from this part of the world, he's from that part, all the way that we express ourselves by the way that we dress, right? So losing your clothing means we forgot to express ourselves. We forgot the value of self-expression, specifically in our relationship. You forgot to tell your wife, your husband, your spouse, your child, your friend, how much you love them, how much they mean to them, how much they mean to you and you mean to them. That you don't need to tell them that, they should tell you. But you forgot to show them love and appreciation. Or you forgot to give them a word of chizuk, a word of, you can do it, right? You got this. Finish it through, right? We forget to express ourselves throughout the years, and whether in all different types of relationships. And the month of Elul is basically like a restart, where you're able to say, you know what, I can do that much better. If you've been to Kfar Aza, and in some of the houses that they have there, they printed the text messages of the individual before he was, God forbid, killed or taken hostage or whatever it is, and they have it on like they blow up where they got you'll see like the stream of the text messages that the family put up there. What do you see in every house you go into and you see the text messages? What's like the last text message always? Stay strong, I love you. Stay strong, I love you. You got this, I love you. I'm coming for you. Stay strong. Why don't we say that during the year? Stay strong, I love you. Person you know is person we forget to express ourselves in our relationship. We don't do it enough. And even if we do it enough, we don't do it well enough. Comes the month of Elul, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling you, Ashev Tashivem. No, you have the ability to return all these traits to yourself in the month of Elul. You realize how lucky we are to have the month of Elul? Most people, they just live throughout life without Elul. You live life without Elul, you're basically you're on a treadmill until it stops. Elul is get off the treadmill, look, examine. You got strong feet, you can push it up, you can become much better, you can become much greater. The month of Elul is the gift to find yourself. That's the greatest gift you can have. to know who you really are inside. You can bring back that bull, that passion. I'm excited to learn. I'm excited to go out. I'm excited to do chesed. I'm excited to do A, B, C, and D. You can bring back the sheep, the sense of unity. Together, we're going to be all one. We're going to be together. We're going to be united. I can redo that. You can find again the donkey, your perseverance. Yeah, I'm going to see it through. I'm going to make sure it happens. And you can find your ability to self-express yourself better, to say how much you love the individual, how much you care for the individual, and how much you actually want and love that individual. So the month of Elul is exciting, and it's the gift itself. I was once in the head of the OU in Israel, the Mankar, the CEO. His name is Rav Avi Berman. Okay, Rav Avi Berman. The OU in Israel does a lot of amazing things. One of the things that they do is called the Zula. Anyone heard about the Zula? You heard about the Zula? The Zula is mamish. This place, if you haven't seen this place, you won't believe it exists. Okay, it's in Crack Square. That's what it's called. It's in Ben Yehuda. In Ben Yehuda, like where all the clubs and the discos are. You go into like a basement, like underground. And Rav Avi, he told me, he's like, listen, I have to show you this place, the Zula. I was like, what are you schlepping me? And it's like Thursday night at like 12 o'clock at night. He's like, you got to see this place. I'm fine. He schleps me there. It was the greatest thing I've ever done. One of the greatest things. Mamish, like incredible. So he says, we go down. It's like everything outside is clubs and whatever. And then there's like this small entrance, and you walk down the steps. And as you get down the steps, it gets darker. And you walk into this room where the lights are off. And in the middle are like 30 candles that are lit. Okay? It's like a mizbeach, right? With like, and you see that from the wax that melted there, how many hundreds of hours of candles were there. And around are teenagers. And they're jamming away. Or they're singing songs of neshama and singing all songs. And they're just trying to find themselves. It's all these teenagers that are trying to find. And Rabbi Berman told me, he said that he once took Rav Shachter to the Zula. He said Rav Shachter came here, he sat down with all the chavra, and he started singing with them and schmoozing with them. So in the Zula, they also have like counselors or psychologists or therapists that like blend into the environment. And they start schmoozing with the boys and the girls to see how they can help. And it's really transformed people. And it's finding a lot of them, it's like they're going through difficult, situations at home or whatever it is, and they're trying to find themselves. And in this area, that they're able to, to connect a little bit more. So then, after we're sitting there and singing for a little bit, he said, I have to show you the coolest room here. And it was really the coolest room. There's a few like different side rooms. He brings me into a room. It's like a smaller room, and it's covered with art from wall to wall. Okay, it's the art therapy room. It's basically all 8x4 sheets, like a regular sheet of paper, like this type of piece of paper. That's across the whole wall, all the walls. The whole thing is filled with art that the teenagers drew. Now, on top of that, there's a bookshelf that has like a machberet. How do you say machberet? Like a folder with those the plastic sheets that you can put the papers inside, and you see hundreds of different types of artwork that these teenagers did. So I pull one off the shelf and I start looking at all the different art, what these kids are drawing. And then there was one that like stood out to me, and I still think about it a lot. And it was a self-portrait. That's what it said. It's a self-portrait. And it was an image. It was a face. It was clearly a face. There was eyes, nose, and mouth, and whatever. But everything was blurry. It was a girl who drew it. I could tell from the handwriting because it was nice handwriting. Yeah. So the girl who drew it, she wrote self-portrait, but everything was blurry. Like you can barely see the eyes, you can barely see the nose, you can barely see the mouth, you can barely see the hair and the face, but it was clearly a face. And on the bottom, she wrote, the person I want to get to know the most in life is myself. And that's what she wrote. And I said it was worth to come to the Zula just to see that. Because that is the greatest thing that you can do. The person that you want to know the most, that to really get to know what you could become, is yourself. That's who you should be the most excited to meet. And the month of Elul is the ability to find yourself. The month of Elul is the ability to be able to come back and really maximize who you are as a potential. And that's going to lead us into the second part of Yareach, why it says Yareach in the pasuk. So the Zohar, he says that on that verse that says that he cries for a month, it's referring to what month? He says Kabbalistically, it's referring to the month of Elul. That a person in the month of Elul cries for the past, and then afterwards, you can come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or really come to who? Come to yourself. Come to realize who yourself. If you realize the bad things that you did in the past and fix it going forward, so then you can become the real person, the real version of who you are. And you can explain it further. Okay? Yerach in the Torah, what does Yerach mean? Yerach means a moon, but it also means a month, right? And Yerach describes the amount of days that it takes for, I think it's the moon going around Earth, right? It takes 29 and a half days. right? That's describing what happens. It's the moon going up and again. Chodesh is milashon also. What does the word chodesh mean? Chadash. Chadash means renewal. It's the ability to continue, right? Yerach in the Torah, whenever we're referring to Yerach, it usually means it's the end of something. Chodesh usually means, what is it? Chadash, it's the beginning of something new. If you've ever been to a wedding, which I hope you have, right? So when they read the Ksuba, it says, Berishon b'Shabbat, that's it's on Sunday, right? And the first time, Berishon b'Shabbat, whatever, b'Chodesh Elul, right? The way it refers to the month in the Ksuba is it says, the month of Elul. If you've ever, chas v'shalom, been by a get, right? I was learning in yeshiva in Ner Yisrael, and it was like, I don't know, late at night, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and this rabbi runs into the Beis Medrash, and he says, grabs me, he says, I need you. I said, what do you need me for? He says, there was a man who just agreed to give a get, and he says, and I need 2 Eidim. He says, could you come right now? So we get into like his dinky yeshivish car, which we were saying to Hillel the whole way that it wouldn't make it. And we went to a guy, he was like in the back of his store, and he agreed to give a get, and we had to go to a different place like that. He can write the get, and then we had to give it to, it was like a wild story. It was like a wild story. But in a get, when you write, in the get, you also need to write the month, right? What month it is. So what they write in the get, you write li yereach Elul, right? If you're doing it in the month of Elul, so you do it you write, it's the month. Why by a ktuba you say chodesh Elul, and by a get you write yerach? So chodesh is because in this week's parsha it says kikach ish isha chadasha, right? Chadash is milashon chadash, right? New, it's renewal. A marriage is the new thing. A get chas v'shalom, what is it? It's the end, right? It's the end of a marriage. You write yerach, which represents it's the end of something. So when it says in this week's parsha that she needs to cry her parents yerach yamin, is basically the Torah saying this marriage is going to end off in what? In a yerach. That's a very simple understanding. That this marriage that's all based on lust and desire, that's why the soldier wants this woman, it's going to end off with a get, with a yerach. That's why he uses the word yerach, right? But also, where's the other time that he uses yerach? We said by Moshe Rabbeinu, right? It says that she hid him for 3 months for yerach yamim. Why does it say yerach? Why does it say chodesh? Because for her, every day was the end. Right? In her mind, she didn't know Moshe was going to get saved. We know the end of the story, right? We read the end of the book, right? So we know he makes it out, he becomes amazing. But Yocheved, who's sitting there and she has her baby, every day, I'm never going to see my son again. Every day, it's over, right? So it says that she felt Gimel Yerachim for 3 months. Every day she felt that it's actually over. So now let's go back to the Zohar. This pasuk that describes the month of Elul, right? It says, Uvachta et avia v'imea yerach yamin. For a whole month, what's the gift of Elul? Is that you can say goodbye to last year. One of our big issues in life is that we take all the baggage we have from a whole life and we schlep it with us into the next year. The month of Elul is the gift where basically you build a big wall, like Trump likes to build, and you say, keep them out. All of last year, all the baggage from last year, keep behind me. I'm ending that, and now what do I have? Now I have v'achalken, and afterwards, you can go back to yourself. So the idea of this month, when we walk away hopefully today from this year, is a renewed excitement for Elul, right? It's exciting. It's not something you should shy away for. I wish it's over. No, every day take advantage. Every day look inside, figure out how could I find my bow? How could I find my passion? How could I find my sheep, my sense of unity? How could I find my self-expression, my donkey, my persistence? How could I refine that self? And then when you find that, then you're going to find the new you, and that's something that's exciting, and that's the greatest gift that you can give yourself, and that's the greatest gift that you can give your family and all of Am Yisrael. So B'ezrat Hashem will be zocha to really find who we are, because that's the greatest gift we can give ourselves, and we should be zocha to have an amazing week with a lot of bracha and a lot of simcha and a lot of tzlacha and siyata d'shmaya.